Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Artists of Color. And today is kind of a special day. I have a very special guest. I met this young woman back in October of this year at the Roxbury Open Studios. And I have to tell you, I was totally captivated by her work. I had so much fun just looking at her work and talking to her. And then to come to find out, she lives in the hood. And I love that, right down the street from me. So today my guest is Jett Thomas. Jett, thank you for coming on my show and being with me today. Oh God, we're going to have we are going to have a ball. We really are.
It's fantastic.
Jett, tell my audience, tell them a little bit about you. Who are you?
I am born and raised in Boston, Massachusetts. I attended Mass College of Art, took some courses there, and I actually started this work because as a young child I was just fascinated by miniatures and Santaland and places like that. My mom would take me and have a difficult time dragging me out of there because I was so obsessed with this make-believe stuff. It was just magical to me and just enchanted me so much. And I used to tell her, I'm going to build that stuff when I get older. Oh, yeah. Then I started taking her shoe boxes out of her closet and building little houses and stuff like that. And she was, not having that. And she actually introduced me. I come from a line of artists. Both my grandparents on my mother's side were both artists. And my mom actually was a very talented artist as well, except for she just didn't practice it. She just was busy working or whatever, and she just never, experienced that part of her life. But she did teach me, and she did kind of mold me, and she used to draw for me, and just take me places where she knew it was enchanting. I guess she realized this child lives in her own fantasy land. And so let me just encourage it. Maybe it'll go somewhere someday. And so, that's how it all started. But I moved away from Boston and lived in New York and Virginia for a while, and then came back in 2001 to care for my parents. And that put me back in Boston. And all that time I was away, I did some aspects of art. I incorporated it in some of the ice sculptures that I would do for, I worked a lot for catering companies, and I would do set designs and big theme parties and stuff like that, and build like animated displays and things like that. So that's, I really did put some good use to that experience I had, creating things that would wow people. And that was always my focus, to captivate and enchant. And so in this work that I do now, everybody always says to me, I don't know, it's a little crazy, the detail. And I would say, it's what you would expect to see. So the detail is extreme, probably, but it's what you would expect to see when you look at anything. It's just miniature, but it's still detailed, because that's what's there. And if you didn't see it, I'm not so sure you would miss it. A cousin of mine was looking at some work I had in my shop, and it was a pizza box. It was a little pizza in a pizza box. And one piece was missing, and there was some crumbs and oil on the spot where it was missing. And he looked at it and he said, "Now isn't that funny? I noticed that, and it didn't seem unusual or over the top, because that's what I would expect to see. Had I not seen it, maybe I would not have noticed it." But he was like, "It's incredible, the detail." So,
see, and you are very detail-oriented. You really are.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. So that's how it came to be. I'm working on some streetscapes now, and so these are pieces that are not involved in the streetscapes, but some ones that I did earlier on, and so that's where we're going with it.
Hey, because we're going to get to the one I like a lot, but tell me about the general store.
The general store is a slice in time, roughly around 1949. It has It's actually part of an earlier on streetscape that I've not completed. I haven't completed either one yet, but I'm still working on them. But it's a store in a town, a small town, Thomas Place. And it actually has, in this town, there are other buildings. There's a bakery, there's a couple of homes, and I've incorporated the buildings in a little story that I wrote of two children, two boys that are 12 years old, and they live in Thomas Place. And so these buildings are sort of built around their story because the story came first, and then so I've built a house that little Tommy lives in. I built a house that Chester lives in. They're the two boys, and this is the shop owner, which they deliver things and help him out from time to time, and so the entire streetscape has sort of like people that are involved and that live in the town and have something to do with the businesses or the stores. And then there's also, I think you saw the pond at the end of the street with the ice skaters.
Yes.
Right, they're all the children of the town and stuff. So that's how this came about. I just kind of like the idea of the general store. My mom used to tell me about her camping trips with her grandfather he was a mason, and they used to go up to Maine. Wow. And there were general stores there, and
yes.
she would tell me stories. So some of the stuff is built from memories of the stories that my mom would tell me, and that sort of thing. I have a house that goes on this strip as well. It's a greenhouse, and inside of it there are pictures of the camp that my mom on the wall, just as they probably were back then when people would take big pictures of their families and put them on the wall in front of the lake or whatever. So there are little aspects.
Really?
Yes. The greenhouse has my mom's picture of her and her mom in the lake. There's a picture of them in the hallway of the greenhouse. So it's interesting.
Now, when you talk about a streetscape,
mm-hmm. That's what I call it. I can't think of anything else.
I
made it up.
Well, there you go.
Streetscape.
Okay, Jett's made this up.
Well, I didn't make up the term, but I made it up for
now, what is a streetscape?
Well, it's just like a street. It's just a scape of a street with several buildings and businesses, a sidewalk with people, something what maybe an architect may draft up or something. Okay. Yeah, there you go. Now that's actually the buildings, but the sidewalk and the street are not there yet.
Okay.
But that's the greenhouse in the corner is the one with the red lights around it. That's the one I was talking, the one at the far right. That's the one I was talking about that has pictures of my family inside.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, and so there's that one, and then there's a more modern piece that I'm doing. Oh, there's the greenhouse there.
There's the greenhouse.
Yeah, inside that living room there's some pictures of my folks hanging on the walls.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's very funny because that greenhouse reminds me of a house that I've seen someplace before in Boston. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, it's not made from a house, but people have said that to me. Oh wow, it looks like this house. Yeah.
Yeah,
it looks like a house I'd like to live in. Yeah,
there you go. Well, that's just like your house.
Exactly.
When it reminded me because when I first came to your house, before I even knocked on the door, I got out in the middle of the street and I said, oh my God, that house is so beautiful.
Oh, wow.
I did.
That's so nice of you to say.
It is so, and now that you put up the lights for Christmas, it really looks gorgeous.
I drive my neighbors crazy. They're all jumping on the bandwagon sooner. At first, it was like I was the only house lit up on the street, but now I see 5 houses. So we're getting there.
There you go.
There
you go.
I've inspired them.
And that's good. That is so cool. I like that. Tell us about.
Well, this I'm doing a streetscape of Venice Beach. I don't know.
Burger Shack.
Yeah, the Burger Shack was the first piece of the Venice Beach strip, and then I realized as I did more research on Venice Beach, California. We're talking about Los Angeles, Venice Beach. I realized that this was a little nostalgic and not quite in the same time frame. And I guess I was sort of stuck in the nostalgia of the vintage homes and the older style homes that I was doing. So when I started this piece, I immediately went to the next piece, which is a skateboard shop with a guitar shop on top of it.
I've seen that.
And then it sat next to this, and I was like, that doesn't fit. So I was like, I really have to, do something that's more along the same architecture as the Venice Beach landscape. So I did some research on some burger shacks, and I came up with another one, which I think we have a picture of here. And so this one I just kept by itself, sort of. And it's just a beach burger shack that sells burgers and shakes and all sorts of things, and French fries. And it has a little more to that goes with it, but it would not have fit here. It actually has a like a patio, like a board, plank board patio with umbrellas and chairs and stuff like that. It's quite kitschy.
I love it.
I mean, it's really fun.
I'm assuming this is wood.
Yes, it is.
Now,
that's all handmade. That's all wood.
When you put this together,
okay,
and you started, did you start from the bottom and work your way up, or
cardboard? I have a cardboard shell. Most of them are made with cardboard shells. So the shell is created first, and then all of the stuff is put inside. Most of the materials are wood, but it's really a mixed media, because I will use whatever it takes to create the look I need. For the aluminum cooking fixtures in the background, and some of the soda fountains and things like that are made with flashing, which comes on a roll. It's aluminum on a roll, and roofers use it for roofing. But I use it for it's one of my favorite materials. I use it for everything. Pots and pans. I mean, the cans in the general store, the cans of paint and all that stuff. That's all made with flashing. And then I just put labels on them. Some of them are some of the labels are downloaded because I want them to look really authentic, and so some of them are vintage labels that I download and print out, and then some of them are hand done. So some of the signs and things are hand done. The food mostly is made of sculpey. It's all sculpted, mostly of sculpey or whatever. Sometimes it's paper mache, depending on the effect that I need. But it's all handmade. I don't buy anything.
Tell us about.
This is Venice Beach. That's the other burger shack. There you go. So that's more indicative of what Venice Beach burger shacks look like, actually. A lot of signs, just like this one. But there you go. There's a T-shirt shop.
Oh yes.
Got a T-shirt shop. So that's all. There's a tiki bar. It's actually got 2 levels, but I didn't photograph. You see, if you notice in the background, you see a television. So they do karaoke there. And I love that. That's on the boardwalk as well. And there's ice cream shop there. Folks having some ice cream cones.
And is that a little person?
That's a little boy. He is.
See?
And
But now, I want to go back. You were talking about, what was the name of the what you used, the lino?
The flashing.
I never heard of it.
Flashing, it comes, if you go to Home Depot, it comes on a roll. It's, and it's very thin aluminum. And I can cut it to size, I can shape it, I can paint it, I can make it look any color I want. I use, as a matter of fact, this is flashing the roof of the general store. And it looks like copper, but I use the flashing for that. I use it for everything. It's incredible. Flashing, paper mache, sculpey, cement. I use. So anyway, they all start with the shell of cardboard, basically, and then they're built up around that. So the outer texture is all wood, and mostly wood, and plexiglass I use for the windows and stuff. And I sculpt the folks and.
Now, you just said you use plexiglass for the windows.
The windows. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How do you buy that?
I buy it in a sheet. If they come in different sizes, Home Depot.
Same thing? Okay. And then you cut it to the size?
And then I can cut it,
Wow.
Some, it depends on what I want to use it for. If like inside the Burger Shack, there's a lemonade dispenser. You see? It's clear lemonade, you can see, and they're pink lemonade. Things like that. I use plastic packaging. Like if you bought an extension cord, it comes in like a plastic cover, clear
Yes.
plastic. I use
Oh.
that kind of stuff a lot for everything. I don't throw anything out. I'm crazy. It's crazy at this point. The other day, a friend of mine came by and he had a sandwich that he bought from a deli, and the container underneath it was black, shiny black. And I said, "Don't throw that away." And he was like, "You can use it." I said, "Yeah, they make perfect sunglasses. There's a picture I think you guys have of Venice
so
Beach where the guys are on the
guys
hoverboards,
are- yes.
and one of them has the dark glasses.
Yeah. So
That's where I made the glasses. Anything, whatever it takes to get the effect that I need is what I use. So there you go. There he goes.
Oh, yes,
See,
there
that's
it
that
is.
plastic container my friend had.
Oh, wow.
So
I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
What is there a specific, and maybe you already told me this, but is there a specific name for the type of art that you do?
if there is,
Uh-oh.
I don't know, because the only thing I can, well, I've heard dioramas, but these aren't quite. I've done dioramas. I have many.
remember you telling
I've
me
done
about
many
this.
dioramas.
Now,
Yeah,
what-
you've
yeah,
seen
what-
a couple
I
of the dioramas, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't call this a diorama. I guess they're models. They're call them streetscapes because of the concept, but the individual pieces. I'm not really sure. There are many things that people call them mini houses, model buildings, and some do call them three-dimensional dioramas, some tableaus. I've heard different names.
Now, what's a diorama?
A diorama is you and I sitting here, and I sculpt this scene. So I sculpt the stage, you and I sitting here in the chairs, the pieces behind us, and it's an open face kind of piece, so it's not closed in like these pieces are. But it could be anything. It could be any everyday activity, just a slice of life, people engaged, or it could be animals. It could even be a scene, but it would be an open, almost like a stage. So an open piece, three-sided piece with the front is open, and you'd be able to see it. And it's three-dimensional, usually sculptured of clay and that sort of thing.
There's, I don't know if we have it on here, but when I was the last time, when I was at the house that day, and was that considered diorama, the one where the three women?
Yes.
And it was open?
Yes.
Okay.
That's
See,
one
I
of
remember.
the first dioramas I did.
Yeah. I thought
Anna's
that was
Kitchen.
so cool. Anna's Kitchen. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah, it was
I
interesting.
Loved that.
I had that piece in a show in New York, and I had a guest book there, and many people wrote many things. It was that piece and another piece, another diorama called Ebbett's Market, which was an older woman with her grandson, and they're picking apples, and at the fruit stand, and it's nicely detailed, very warm, and just like Anna's Kitchen, very warm piece. It makes you, smile when you look at it. And this woman wrote inside of my book. Absolutely beautiful work. It totally enchants me. Although for me, I feel it's a bit idealistic. Well, I hunted her down because I wanted to know, what do you mean idealistic? And I did, meet up with her, and she explained to me, in her opinion, she thought that, and she was speaking of the Anna's Kitchen piece, she felt like back in 1949, when around the time I sort of gauged for that piece, that she didn't think that blacks lived that happily, that it wasn't likely that would be a scene where these women would be so happy in the kitchen, and each one of them is doing something. One, as you saw, was peeling potatoes. Another one was picking green beans, and the other one was folding laundry, and they're all engaged in conversation and laughter. And for her, it was idealistic. And I said, so Norman Rockwell is idealistic? She said, yeah, but more realistic. In other words,
really?
Well, that was her opinion, and I understood what she was saying. But but I told her, I said, yeah, my work will probably always be, sort of idealistic, because that's how I see the world. The world's a happy place for me, and I just want to share
what
things
you
that I am easily enchanted. Really,
I can see.
forget it. And so I just live in this magic bubble. And so I create the work that sort of, I want to share that.
That's what
you know what I mean?
That's who you are.
I
That's what
share
you.
that.
That's what comes from you.
That's what I want to do.
You know?
Well, it's good that I'm doing it.
I love it. You know, I really love it.
I love making them. I just, I told you before, in hours and hours and hours on end in my shop. I mean, my friends call me, Jett, can we meet later? It's like, well, I'm busy. Yeah, you're in the shop.
Yeah.
Come on.
We know where you
little
are.
woman, come down and meet us for a drink or something. Get out of there. And then my sister, she gets on me all the time.
We
But
know
I
where you
gotta
are,
finish
Jett.
it. I've got to finish it. It's not finished yet. I do want to do the I have in mind 3 streetscapes to complete, and then perhaps sort of see where they may want to go, but also be instrumental in maybe getting them out there, maybe at galleries
Well,
or something. That's sort
we're
of.
talking about that. That's why
Yeah.
it's selling about a couple of places.
Yeah.
And what, I know you're doing 3 different ones. Have you ever thought of, first of all, are you doing one that is from the community?
Yes,
Aha! I haven't seen that one.
that's the 3rd one.
That's the 3rd one. Have you started it?
No.
Okay.
It's next. I have to finish these.
You've
but
gotta finish
I,
these
I,
and
I do
Venice
have one
Beach.
for the community. I have Venice Beach is quite an undertaking. There are palm
sure
trees involved.
is.
I don't know if you're familiar with Venice Beach, but
I've
it's
heard
a
of it,
huge-
but-
yeah, it's a nice strip of LA boardwalk, Santa Monica, I believe, and so there are vendors that have to come be created in palm trees and stuff. It's a big piece. It's about 15 feet long. I don't know where it will go, but
15?
Oh, it's huge. It's
Where
huge.
you
Oh, it's huge. You saw it.
Yes, I
Already
did.
13 feet long. I still
Jeepers
have the
Christmas.
the end patios to put on.
See?
Yeah, it's a big piece, big
Oh,
undertaking.
Goodness. What have we here?
Oh, these are
this part
folks
of Venice
walking
Beach?
along. This gal and guy with their little bulldog.
Oh, yes.
You saw her.
I saw her. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought they were cool.
Venice Beach people. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm actually populating Venice Beach because the buildings are already up there. I still have vendors to do, which are in big tents and lots of stuff around them, and that's opposite the buildings. So, and then palm trees. But I'm populating it now. If someone once said to me, "Well, it won't look like Venice Beach unless you put about 1 billion people on there." So I mean,
So
there
now
won't be
you're
a
gonna
billion,
be
but
doing it, no,
yeah.
but close to it.
That's what I'm doing right now. I'm in population phase, so I'm making
Oh,
people.
wow.
Yeah.
That
About
must
10 about 10 a week.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
10 a
I
week?
should be done.
That's very
Yeah.
detailed.
I have an idea about some other places in the city of Boston. Of course, also Martha's Vineyard is a dream of mine to create. So,
Wow. Excuse me.
well,
Fantastic.
yeah, we'll see.
Oh, we will, please.
see.
Yeah. You know, I'm going to keep.
But I'm glad that
Now that you're down the
you took
street,
I know.
you know, I can call you and say, hey, I'm coming down. How far have you gotten? Let me see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I move along at a strange pace. It just depends on, I go into different phases.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's food phase and people phase and building phase,
Phase and
cement.
then
I have to
phase.
make a lot of sidewalks. So,
Yeah, I hear you. Well, you know, we've put up on the screen for everybody to find out how to get in touch with you and where you are. So we've got Thomas Place Gallery, and we've got your
Fantastic.
Facebook
Yep.
page up, your Facebook information up
Facebook
there in your
page.
phone. And so we want anybody that's interested in, making an appointment with old dear Jett here and find out where she is and what she's doing.
or if you have any ideas,
yeah, there you go,
where
if you
this
have any ideas.
this work may go at some point. Where it may find its home.
Okay.
I know.
Well, we are going to take a break,
Okay. Very good.
and we're going to come back and have a good time.
Good. Terrific.
Yes. Well, good afternoon and welcome back to Artists of Color. And today my guest is Jett Thomas. And Jett is a fabulous. I couldn't even begin to tell you what kind of artist she is. She sculpts, she paints, she's very detail oriented, and she is like none other that I've ever met or seen.
Wow.
I've never seen work like Jett's work. It is like too detailed and too fantastic for me to even begin to get an idea of to put a name to it. I can't even put a name to it.
My friends think I'm insane.
We're not going to put down their Jett's insane work.
You know, the more the detail, the more, I know you wanted to talk about that detail.
Yes.
And how I'm driven by, to create things in such detail. And, you know, usually when I have an idea about a concept, a building or whatever I want to, the next building I want to make or whatever, I don't always know what goes in it or what it entails, but as I go along, it just comes to me. I can't explain it any other way. And like the Burger Shack, I can never see inside any of the buildings. Like I would look up on the internet, Hamburger Shack or something like that, just to get an idea of what
they would look
what
like.
The general architecture of one may be. And they're all different types, but you can never see inside of them. So I wing it. I figure, well, if I had a hamburger shack, what would I want inside of it? And so that's how I end up with, the coffee and the styrofoam cups and the packs of sugar and the backup and the lemonade and the spoons and the bags of chips and the whoopie pies and all that stuff, because that's what I figure.
It's in a burger shack.
And especially a boardwalk burger shack. And this is sort of like a beach location, more or less. And so that's how we get. And then there can never be too much detail for me, because you look at real places and they're just congested with stuff. I mean, you look in the window, you walk up to a to-go place, and it's just congested with stuff. And so I don't want to cheat myself and not do the same. So that's what I do. And it might seem like overkill at the time, but when you look at this, you expect to see what you see there.
Yes.
You expect to see straws and napkins on the outside of the counter. Yeah. You expect to see the coffee maker with the cups and the sugar packs. You expect to see, things like that.
The sign with the
signs
pizza.
You expect to see these things.
The menu here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you would.
And and so that's why I create them.
When you do them, for instance, for here, the Burger Shack, do you start from the inside and then work your way out?
I do. As I said, I start with the shell. I create the shape of the room. One of the first things I do is put the floor down. The floor, I start with that, and then I build the counters and shelves and stuff like that, and then I start to think about what will go inside.
What is that process like?
It goes pretty quickly, actually.
Really?
I'm getting real good.
Uh-oh.
I mean, it used to take me a little bit of time because I didn't know how to put them together. And so I would sort of make it up as I went along. Now, this Burger Shack didn't take that long. I would say about maybe a month. But the other one, the Venice Beach piece, took like 3 weeks. Why? Because I knew exactly what I was doing. I knew I wanted a fryer later in the back. I knew I wanted the grill with the burgers. I knew I wanted, and boom, boom, boom with the flashing. I cut it and shape it and make the little food out of it. I mean, it went right along because I had practice with this one. It's not identical to this one. It's similar, but it's not exactly the same because it's a different, it's sort of a different concept.
How do you make food? How do you do
food
that?
Food is made by mostly scalpe, but whatever it takes. It could be anything. Those nacho chips, for an example, I think of pieces of paper in the same color. It's construction paper that's the same color as a nacho chip, and then all the stuff that goes inside or over it is paint. Usually like the sour cream or whatever that is on the top, it's paint.
Oh, yeah.
The little peppers are made of wire. and
Really?
then painted green. Well, whatever it takes to make it look exactly like it needs to look is what I use. So
That is like fantastic.
yeah, I mean,
Now,
it's
once you've
interesting.
done the inside and you've planned out the flooring,
Right,
to me, it's like being a contractor.
right,
When
exactly.
you think about it, it is.
Exactly. Well, the last thing that happens is the front goes on. So these things, I work with them, the whole front of the building is not on. So it goes on at the last, but you know, I work inside. Unfortunately, the general store's lights are not, they're dollhouse lights that I use. And I think one is loose and I didn't turn it on before we began, so I won't turn it on now. But inside it's, you know, boxes and storage. There's a desk there, an old style rolled top desk with an oil lamp on it with pieces of paper stuck in the cubby holes like reminders and stuff.
Oh,
the shop
yes,
owner,
like
that's
little,
his desk. Yeah,
like,
yeah. He's
yup.
got all his bills, and then he's got, you know, the little books on the side. I mean, it's quite detailed, unfortunately. I'm sorry that you can't see it, but yeah, I was, you know, one of the first Anna's Kitchen, as a matter of fact.
Yes.
I was telling my sister when we were discussing, she was telling me about some other artwork that she had seen that was similar to mine, and but minus the detail, a lot less detail. And I said, you know, detail is crazy. I have to cut myself off at some point because I did Anna's Kitchen, and as you saw, the cabinets that are above her, they're glued shut because this is not interactive. These aren't toys, but they look like them. They look
and
like
people
dollhouses.
would want to touch.
And everybody wants to touch.
Everybody
and open
wants
the
to.
door or to fix the thing or
Yeah.
move the egg. You know, they want to touch it.
Exactly.
And I understand because I was that way as a child. That's how I became fascinated with this stuff. Miniatures drove me nuts. My mother would literally have to drag me out of places that, you know, had anything miniature. She would be, oh my God, this kid's going to drive me crazy. So I understand the irresistible urge to not touch. And so, but they're not interactive. They don't move. The doors don't open and shut. So, you know, I always have to remind people of that. But that doesn't stop me from putting the detail behind the door. In other words, the cabinets in Anna's Kitchen, there's food in those cabinets. There are food boxes and little cans and yeah, if you were to break it open, because it's glued shut, because it's not interactive, it's not a toy, it's not meant to be opened up, you just look at what you see. But if you were to open it, you would see that there's food inside. Yeah, you know, and I had to stop myself from creating things that were around the corner that
Like
could not be seen.
this.
Bakery, yeah.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. That's actually part of the general store's streetscape. That's the bakery. Wow. Yeah, so it's really pretty detailed inside. It's got lots of cakes and stuff that you can't see in the showcase and stuff. So yeah, and it's funny because I was telling my sister as well in the same conversation that I was working on a piece that you could not see around the corner. That was actually the end of the visual perspective that anyone looking in could see.
Okay.
But around the corner were things going on. And I had to stop myself. It takes up time, first of all, and no one will ever see it. 100 years from now, when I'm long gone, and maybe someone has some of my work and it's thrown in the closet somewhere, and their kids bust it up, and then all of a sudden you see, oh my God, look, there's even more stuff. There's stuff behind there, and there's stuff down the stairs and under the stairs. So no.
You really get.
I get crazy with it, but it's what creates. I know it's there.
The fantastic
and for something,
beauty
it
that you
helps
create.
me. It helps me to know to go that extra step. And create the magic.
And it is magic.
Oh, thank you so much.
It really.
They're magical to me. It's nice
Yeah,
that other
it
people
is.
like them so much.
When I wish, and I know I don't even think we have that, but that the Christmas scene out in front, the man and the woman, and it looks they're in front of a store, and there's a tree.
Oh yes. No, we don't have it.
Because somebody bought two. I remember somebody bought.
The carolers.
The two carolers,
The
yes.
carolers.
And then there's the elder gentleman with his wife, I guess.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh.
Yeah, they're villagers. They're actually from
the
Thomas Place, the same place that this piece, the general store is.
Okay.
And yeah, they were villagers, and I made carolers out of them, and I had them in sets, and
Yep,
that
you
was
did.
lovely that people loved them and they bought them.
Yes.
That was great.
I thought that was.
I was at first,
I was like,
oh no,
they're not going to buy them, are they?
So they've been with me for so long because none of it I had any intention on selling anything. I build them because I love them.
Love them.
I've always said I wanted to build them, and when my mom passed, it was a really good time for me to just get involved with it. I had the time at that point, and it was a way of healing, and it was very good, and I enjoyed making them. And I know in my mom's last stages of her life, I had started building the red house that you took pictures of in the time. And I was actually,
so beautiful.
had a satellite office by where she would, in the den where I had her during the day, and so she would look over from time to time and she'd laugh. Something would make her laugh.
Make her chuckle, huh?
Like I was putting the wallpaper on the wall. I had a little turkey on the table, and she looked over and she laughed.
She said,
She was like, "Oh, isn't that cute?" So those pieces, she was with me when I started making them. And then I just went from there and just sort of segued into the concept of the streetscapes, because I wanted to create a little town. I guess it's a little miniature town is what I would call it. And,
it's beautiful.
And so that's how they came about. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I want to build a couple of more, and just for fun, and and see what happens, and then we'll see where it goes from there.
Do you want to be able to sell your works?
Yes, absolutely. And also, I'd like to be able to do individual pieces. I mean, it's not all streetscapes. I mean, I'd like to do maybe, I don't know, smaller pieces, and if people are interested in them and interested in buying them, we'll see what the market is like. I mean, if I just build them for myself, I'm going to run out of space sooner or later.
Yes, in a minute I can see. I mean, we're still doing Venice Beach.
We're still doing Venice Beach.
So
it's going to be quite an installation, but I
would
think
like
it'll
to
find a
see
nice
that
place.
I would
probably
love
on
to
the
see
West
that on
Coast.
exhibit.
I don't know how much the East Coast folks get the West Coast folks.
I would like to see that on exhibit here.
Yeah, I would love to.
Because we've talked about some places, so that's going to happen.
That would be great.
That's going to
That would
happen.
be
I'm
great,
going to help that
actually.
happen.
Well, that would be lovely. I look forward to that.
Yes.
Oh, there we go. There's a T-shirt shop, Venice Beach.
Yep.
You see all those sunglasses on the back?
Yeah.
Back wall?
You must have had a ball. You must have had a
you
ball
buy
doing
those clear
those.
color envelopes to put CDs in.
Yes.
They come in a pack. That's what those sunglasses are made from, mostly.
See, you use anything.
Yeah, I cut them up into small shapes of sunglasses, and there we go.
You do. Oh my goodness. I could never. I know I couldn't. I could never do that.
Oh,
I mean,
well.
it's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
But
You can't really see inside that ice cream shop, but
but
that was
I
quite
saw
a piece.
inside.
Oh, you saw it in
Was
person.
it
that's right.
Yeah, I sure
That's
did.
right.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
It's a nice piece too.
It was wonderful. And there we are.
There we
You
are
can
again.
see the TV in the back.
Yes.
Yes.
I took these pictures. I'm not great. My camera, for some reason, is terrible. And I thought it was a good camera, but I can't get the details all at the same time.
The detail that you
wanted. Yeah, like there's a bar inside with lots of bottles that I make from. That's another thing I use. The hot glue gun.
Yes.
That makes bottles, so I can make bottles of liquor. I can make the drinks that are on the table at the tiki bar piece. There are drinks and margaritas on the table, all made from the hot glue gun.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I just sort of use it like blown glass. So
Oh,
I'll
and
swirl
so
it
you
around,
just
turn
swirl
it
it
upside down. It takes shape. I blow it, turn it back up, blow it until it takes a shape, and then it just works out for me. I don't know.
It works.
Yeah, it works out.
It works.
Yeah.
Where are we here?
That's the other Burger Shack.
Okay, that is
Easy.
the
It's sort of similar to this one, but not exactly. It's
No.
got the same sort of style, the shelving and stuff.
I like
But
it.
you can't really see a lot of detail
As
in
much,
that one
yeah.
as well. Now that skateboard shop there, I didn't take a picture of inside, but you saw it.
Yep.
There's like 200 skateboards
In there. Oh, yeah. So, what? Okay.
And the guitar shop upstairs, which I made the guitars. They're all made from Sculpey. Very easy to do.
Oh, no,
This
I
is
like
a pizza
this.
shop that's on the end of the boardwalk. There's an outdoor
The detail. I
patio.
like the flooring.
That's cement.
Oh, my goodness. That is-
Same as the sidewalks and stuff.
yeah.
That is the refrigerator there with the soda.
I like
Those
that.
cans are made from flashing,
Oh.
the aluminum.
The aluminum.
that I was telling you about. So
And
are
you
the
painted
doors,
it?
the trim of the doors.
Okay.
Yeah. Painted the cans,
That
bottled
is
water
so-
in the bottom. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, my God. I remember when I saw that one.
It's funny
This
that
right here. I
doggy,
said, huh?
the dog
How did she? The
dog
dog. The
is
dog was
hysterical.
what got me. Like, really?
walking along. Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. I'm
is.
having fun with it.
You oughta. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've never met anybody like you. When I saw this, I was like, oh yeah. See, I
I
really,
think
really,
there's
really
stuff like that
have to
out there.
have-
It's just, I don't know where it is, but I'm sure that there is work like this. I mean, I think I've
Well,
seen
I've
it.
never seen it.
I think I have. I'm not sure, but I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure. Nothing is brand new. Most things
But you
are.
never know.
Yeah. Well,
And to
we'll see.
me, it's your, it's your work.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like having and what I was going to say earlier, it's like having a jewel in the community that nobody knows about. We
What a
all
nice
have
thing to say.
jewels. And I found a jewel. And I thought,
Yes, you did.
I found a jewel in my own community. And I said, nobody knows about this jewel. And I found her. And I
Nobody
want
knows.
everybody to know about my jewel. And my jewel's name is Jett Thomas. And I found my
Sweet.
jewel. And it is
Thank you
like
so much.
so beautiful.
I really appreciate you having me on your show.
Oh, you kidding?
And
I'm
giving me
so
a chance
glad
to showcase
we met.
my work. I know. That was phenomenal.
It was like, wow. And who was your friend that was with you? And I said I wanted to
Zena.
have you on this. No, not Zena, the other,
Oh.
the gentleman.
Oh,
And he
Cullen, my good friend Cullen, my
and
childhood
he said, And I
friend.
said to you, I wanted to have you on my show. And he says, and you thought, I can't do that. And he's saying, yes, you can. You can do that. And I said, don't worry about it. And she says, well, we got to get it together before that. I said, we will meet and we will sit down and talk and you'll be fine.
Yeah, it was.
And
it
here
was a
you
bit of a
are.
panic attack. I looked at him. I was like, I can't do it.
I know you did. I can't do it.
He's
I
like,
can't do
you'll be
that."
fine. You'll be fine. Just talk about your work. You'll be fine.
And see, we're talking about your work because that's your passion.
That's my passion.
That's
Absolutely
your passion.
love it.
Like what I do is my passion.
Absolutely.
I remember, when I first started doing this show, I was like, huh, really? But I've gotten used to it and I like it. And I love having people like you on my show.
Yeah.
Because
blessed to have
I
your show.
find
It's
that
wonderful.
people
It's
love
wonderful.
it. People love it. Like I will, like I'd say maybe a few days from now, I'll be on the bus and somebody will say, oh yeah, you had that young woman on your show that did all that wonderful. Who is she? Now someone will ask me that. And I will
Really?
get 5 or 6 people in.
So
in
you get
any-
recognized whenever you're on the bus, and
We saw you. I just saw your show. Well, wait a minute.
I knew when I met you, I recognized you. I didn't know why, though. I had probably seen your show, but you looked familiar to me when I met you at the museum.
At the
that
museum?
night.
Yep.
It was funny. That was a funny experience because I walked in and I have never
I
been
said,
in any shows
"Who is
in
this?"
Boston. I've never shown. I have had some
No.
exposure in New York, but not with this type of work. Some other stuff, and so I didn't know anyone there, and there was
I know.
another artist
Yep.
that was there. Do you know what I'm about to tell you?
Go ahead.
Okay, well, my friend Zena, who brought me into the Discover Roxbury group, she had introduced me to another artist that was there, and I guess she didn't introduce me as an artist, just, oh, this is my friend Jett. And so she was exhibiting in the show the next day, this artist, and she didn't even shake my hand. She was like, oh yeah, hi, and walked away. And I was like, wow, I guess she just thinks I'm here for the free cheese and wine. I don't know. So she didn't even bother to ask me, are you an artist? What are you doing here? She just like blew me off. And so then I came over and you said, hi, who are you? And I said, oh, I'm Jett Thomas. And you said, well, come here, Jett Thomas, sign your name. And we talked for a few
Yes,
minutes.
we
You
did.
were very, very kind to me. And so later on, when Zena and I were leaving, this same woman was at the door, and Zena said, by the way, do you remember me showing you the work, telling you about the work and showing you the pictures on my phone? And she was like, yeah, those houses and that fabulous.
Yeah,
She was like,
that's
yeah,
the
that's her. And she looked at me, and she was like, you? You're the one who does.
Good.
I was like,
see?
yeah, I guess if you saw my work, then that would be
that
me.
was me. You know, and when,
But it was just so funny because she had no time for me. She
No,
could have
none,
cared less. She was like, yeah, hi.
kept going. People will do that around here.
I know.
And
It's
then
okay though.
like,
I don't.
and I had no, and you and I talked, and I don't think I ever found out that you were an artist that night.
That night, probably.
No.
Not. No.
And I asked Zena later about you, and that's how I found out that you were going to be at Roxbury. Oh,
Right.
she's going to be at Roxbury Open. She is. Oh, I'm going to find her. Because I didn't know what you did. Zena didn't tell me what you did or what your art medium was. And I said, really?
Right.
Okay, we're going to find
Well,
out.
because we were thinking the boxes, the vintage baby boxes, which
I love them.
Yeah, they're very nice.
We didn't bring any boxes.
We did not, and they're a specialty item. You know, I started making them because I did, before I started with these, I was doing out of recycled wood gift boxes.
Okay.
So they're wooden gift boxes made with recycled wood that's, most of it is recycled. It's also stressed, and so the idea was vintage. They were vintage gift boxes. And so they were smaller, as opposed to a basket, you know, so they're filled with wine and cheese and all sorts of things, and they've got great labels on them. Really cool looking things. And so I went from there to the baby boxes. And the idea, which you saw them displayed at the show, with the baby things and items inside, and so they're great as a gift. As a baby shower gift to a mother and having a baby, and then afterwards, after all the products are used,
I'm going to need one of those in the spring.
Oh, good. They can be used as toy boxes.
Okay.
And so I actually, one of the pieces, which I'm sure they showed, I wasn't paying attention, but there's a picture of a child's room from the outside of the house in the clips that you have.
Notice that, yes.
And there's a toy box inside the room, but it's a miniature one. But it's made from the same, concept of the big boxes. So, but the thing is, I brought them there, and I didn't think that they would move because they're a specialty item. And so you have to be having a baby to buy one, or know someone who's having a baby. It's not like the carolers, which are a Christmas ornament basically,
exactly.
as a Christmas seasonal type gift. Those gifts are specific. So when I started building them, I built them to order. They weren't necessarily built. But what my idea is that to see them all together, they're kind of impressive as a maybe a store display type of thing. So I thought if maybe display artists were coming to the show or something, that they would sort of see it that way, because that's sort of the response that I've been getting about them.
Okay.
Oh, they'd be great as display items, even if you don't buy them. Display items in windows of baby stores and things like that.
Yes.
Yeah. So I've heard a lot of that. So I thought, well, maybe I'll bring them along, and if there's a buyer or a mate, get an idea or something. So
have you thought about wanting to do a seasonal store area where you can come and display your stuff, like within the community? For instance, it just hit to me since you're talking about displays, I was thinking about the Dudley Square area, the new building.
Exactly.
The new building.
Yeah, well, would certainly. A woman approached me who saw some of my pictures on someone else's phone that same night of the reception, and she works for one of the schools in the area, in the community, and they have a big display window that they don't do much with. They've, I guess, have had some cardboard type of drafting models,
Models, but
of
they
some
don't.
of their properties and things like that in the window, and they've been wanting to change that up a little bit and do something a little more artsy-fartsy and maybe
Oh,
involve
nice.
some of the artists in the community. So when she saw some pictures of these things and what I was going to be exhibiting the next day, she was like, we would love to talk with you about coming down, and of course her associate that was there was very excited. Oh yes, and we have playgrounds and you could do this. And I said,
See?
wow, that sounds really large. and her boss
"Really
said,
large."
well, I mean, we can talk about what you might be
See?
willing to build. And
There you
so,
go.
So,
It was
I thought
like,
that was great.
whoa.
Yeah. So it's interesting. It's been really like with you and appreciating the work and inviting me to be on your show. It's been really amazing to me to see the reaction, because like I said, I didn't have that in mind for them. They enchant me. I build them because I love them, and because
Right.
I used to tell my mother, I'm going to build those one day.
And
so
I'm gonna do something with this
all of this. I'm
child.
building my own enchanted village, which I'm still thinking about it.
Oh,
I would love to create an enchanted village, because
Oh,
that's
I
where it
would
all
love to
began. That's
see
where
that.
it all began. In the community, maybe something wonderful.
would
So,
love to
yeah,
see
that. I mean,
that.
I'm not recreating the wheel here, because it's been done. I mean, I was infatuated with it as a child, but yeah.
Well,
We'll see
I
where
want
it
to
goes.
tell you, I am so excited. I am
Me too.
so happy that you came.
Me too.
And everyone out there who's been watching Artists of Color, I want so much to thank my friend Jett Thomas and her beautiful work. I mean, I've never, like I said at the beginning, I've never seen anything like this before, and we have a jewel in our midst. And as she was just talking about an enchanted village, I would love to see that. That would
Coming
be the
soon.
most beautiful thing. That's right, coming
To a theater
soon.
near you.
Hopefully we'll be ready next Christmas.
Yeah, that'd be great.
2016, be looking for the
That's
Enchanted
great.
Village.
Exactly.
Oh, that would be absolutely beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Sweetheart.
Thank you so much.
Oh, Jesus, I'm so glad you came.
Pleasure to be here.